Jon Faine,
now streaming
at abc.net.au/Melbourne.
Good morning, Wednesday morning, August the 26th. In an unprecedented show of bipartisan unity, former Liberal and Labor politicians unite to try to lobby the University of Melbourne over changes to the College of the Arts and Music, the VCA, in St Kilda Road. There's not many things that bring Liberal and Labor together and cross the divide, the unwritten divide between the two sides of politics in Australia, but maybe it's the arts that creates that bridge. And going back as far as you can through Victorian political history, all the living ministers for the arts have written to the University of Melbourne to say, oi, just stop and think about it. We don't think you're doing the right thing with the changes to the iconic school that trains actors, musicians, puppeteers, you name it, pretty much the cream and some of the dross of Melbourne's arts community. We'll speak about that this morning, and we've invited the University of Melbourne to join us to discuss their intentions. We've had one opportunity to speak to the Dean. It seems she's reluctant to go through an interview of that kind again. We've invited the Vice-Chancellor to speak to us this morning. He's apparently not available either, but we'll follow through on the story and see exactly where all of those changes may be heading. Also this morning, the Chief Commissioner of Police, Simon Overland, will be here to take your calls to talk about policing, of course.
Text to 19774 774.
The ongoing troubles at the Victorian College of the Arts and Music, now amalgamated with the University of Melbourne, continue to cause problems for the University of Melbourne administration. Again this morning we've invited the university's Vice-Chancellor, Professor Glyn Davis, to join us to explain what the university's intentions are and to clarify the plans and strategies for the future of amalgamating the VCAM into the University of Melbourne. But we're still waiting this morning. However, as the Age newspaper reports on its front page, every former state arts minister, Labor and Liberal, have written to the University of Melbourne expressing their concern about plans for the future. One of those is former Arts Minister and former Premier Jeff Kennett. Jeff Kennett, good morning.
Morning, John.
At the risk of it being the Jeff Kennett show this week, can you explain to us, please, why you've joined in with people who are your political opposition?
I don't think I have ever before signed a letter or been part of a group in what I would call a group protest, which should give you some idea of how serious I think the threat is to the VCA. The VCA is a wonderful creative asset for this state. Under my administration, we spent a lot of money on the capital infrastructure, building new facilities, and I've got to say my successors have also done the same. If we don't have a College of the Arts that is not only in real terms independent, but encourages artists across many disciplines, then we're going to find ourselves as a city and as a state and as a country a lot poorer. And I am very concerned that this concept of moving arts into a learning phase, a university-based model, is going to deny us that flexibility of artists.
The University of Melbourne, in their few public comments, have said they maintain a commitment to excellence. They do want to integrate the college into the university administration. They want to make some changes, but they, I think I can say, they feel that there's a sustained campaign against them.
I can understand them feeling that, and I have a lot of time and respect for Glyn Davis, the Vice-Chancellor. But the model that the university is putting into place will merge some of the disciplines together at the College of the Arts and will have a different form of learning apart from training. It will be study, a combination of both, and to be quite honest, to me, the Victorian College of the Arts not only has a wonderful record of producing full-blown artists of international standing, for every one of those who has a public recognisable name, there are hundreds of others who are elite artists across many disciplines, without whom this cultural centre that we have here in Melbourne would simply not be the same. And I know the Premier is committed to the arts, but I'm quite sure that if his political epitaph was that the VCA was lost under his watch, he would be a very disappointed politician. And I do think that the government is going to have to step in and provide the wherewithal to ensure that the College of the Arts continues in a traditional form. Not to say there can't be changes at the edges, John, but once you put it into the university model, you are going to destroy the hub, the nub of the college.
You're calling then on John Brumby to do something. What about the Commonwealth? The Commonwealth gives direct funding to equivalent colleges in Sydney at NIDA and in Perth at WAPA, but not to VCAM. Why shouldn't the Commonwealth kick in as well?
I agree with that, and would like to think it's the case. I do know that we tried to get Commonwealth funding in the past and the Commonwealth always said no. My fear is that if you simply wait and make this a political dispute between one level of government and another, you're going to lose the college along the way. In other words, if we can spend, as we did, $65 million to attract a once-only swimming world championships, then surely we have the capacity to provide ongoing recurrent funding for the College of the Arts, because that in itself is a major event. And I just don't want to see a political argument develop that might see the college slip between the floorboards in the meantime. So I don't argue against going for federal funding, but please don't lose the college while waiting for it.
Jeff Kennett, it's interesting that here you are, a man whose political reputation and career was forged on making hard decisions and often unpopular decisions, joining in with a protest here. It's the most unlikely of alliances.
Well, John, as I said before, I've never done this before.
Are we going to see you outside on the picket line or marching in the streets with Geoffrey Rush and the students?
Playing with my tuba? Probably not, but you know, once something like this goes, it never comes back. You lose it forever. And I, as you hopefully might accept in small form, although you're never one of my greatest supporters, will understand that our commitments to the arts was very consistent and was very strong, because it wasn't just things like the library and the museums that we invested in. It also encouraged things like Bangara, the dance company, etc. So we've got a long association, and it matters not what your politics are. If a great city like Melbourne is at risk of losing what I think, genuinely speaking, is its artistic heart, then I think there'll be a lot of your listeners who will be equally concerned regardless of their politics.